going? The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order at 7:01 p.m. on January 25th, 2011. If everybody would please rise and join me, I'll be leading us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Present.
Trustees Darnowski.
Here.
Tiffany.
Here.
Duberstein.
Here.
Barrett is absent. Daly.
Here.
And Walkington.
Here.
Okay, we are in quorum tonight. Trustee Barrett is out of state. He had a customer of his company that is in crisis, so he's seeing them through some kind of shipment problem, so we are excusing him tonight. I'd like to ask for a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darnowski.
Aye.
Tiffany.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time we'll take public comments. Anybody that would like to address the board, if you please step forward to the mic and state your name and address for the record. No takers? Going once, going twice, gone. Okay, moving on to the omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darnowski.
Aye.
Tiffany.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Well, January is flying by very quickly. It's the time of year in government where a lot of the various organizations, the Mayor's Caucus, legislative committees, both at the county and state level, also our local chambers, have annual meetings, and so I've been attending many meetings. They're certainly very worthwhile, but they are time-consuming and take me away from our day-to-day duties. So January's gone by very quickly. A big topic, of course, at legislative committees, especially at the state level, is what money is there to be had, if any? What cuts will we have to endure? What will we have to live without? So that's kind of sad news. Because some of the legislation we'd like to see passed, I mean, you ask yourself, what's the point, or, you know, what will happen? It'll also be interesting to see what happens with this pension reform, because it's going off in a lot of directions, and now they're trying to mess with people's pension that are going out or already retired, which I think they're going to have a march down on Springfield if that continues that way, so it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that. Later on in the meeting, we'll be addressing, I have a PowerPoint presentation. I modified it somewhat for tonight's purpose, but the Round Lake Chamber has an annual luncheon in January where the mayors give overview of accomplishments and goals from the past year. So the interesting thing is, you know, the chamber luncheons and some of these annual meetings, attendance is down because people have had to even cut from their budgets attending these types of things. So there was literally half the people in attendance as there was last year at this event, and it all seems to be budget related. Also, just an item of note, Jerry Noble is a resident of Hainesville. He's very well known in this community for his community efforts. He's also a former trustee. He was in a pretty serious accident on Martin Luther King Day. He has been at Lutheran General Hospital. He's been moved to a rehab facility for a week and then is expected to go back to Lutheran General to have surgery next week. And I will say Jerry was out with his family and neighbors trying to have a good time at the new racing motocross facility, and unfortunately wiped out. He had all the safety gear on, and he's really banged up, and I'm sure the family would appreciate your help when Jerry comes home, because he's going to have a real long healing time. He's got his right leg broken in 2 places, plus spiral fractures. They'll be plating his leg together in surgery. He has 2 broken ribs. He has a broken clavicle. His shoulder is really messed up, and he has a broken thumb on his left hand. So this poor guy is going to have quite a recovery. But thank God, you know, that being said, he's alive and doing well and still has a sense of humor. Also, I just want to mention that tentatively we are targeting March 22nd for the candidates forum, and I expect that it indeed will take place on that date. We're just waiting for confirmation from our moderator request, but that's typically when the second meeting is in March, and instead we'll be having the candidates forum. So we will get that posted on the web, and it'll be in the next newsletter when we have that confirmed. Also, just want to update the board and the residents. Today was my quarterly meeting for the village with CENTCOM. We had the directors board meeting and the Jets board meeting. That was at 1 o'clock. At 9 o'clock this morning, I asked Mayor Jean McHugh from Round Lake Park, who serves right now as the chair of the Jets board, to come to our village and meet with me as the chair of the Jets board. I also had our attorney Jim Rock present. I also asked Paul Maplethorpe, the fire chief of the Round Lake Park District, to be present, and also invited Brent Reynolds, who is the director for our Glenview dispatch that dispatches the Grace Lake Police Service calls for us. What we did at this meeting, this was an exploratory conversation to explore options and feasibility for rerouting our 911 calls through Glenview. And then as a second line item, we also discussed moving a portion of our 911 surcharge funds. Jim Rock had brought to the table that this has been done not only in other places in Illinois, but it also has been done here in Lake County and was recently done an intergovernmental agreement with Riverwoods. Riverwoods moved their dispatching from the Lake County Sheriff's Department to Lincolnshire. So this is all in the exploratory phase. Whether we're going to do this or the way exactly we're going to do it, we don't yet know yet, but this is the beginning of a conversation. We had a good meeting. We all determined that we needed some more data and figured out what it is that we need. Grays Lake, Glenview Dispatching is going back to get their records that we need, additional data. CENTCOM will be running additional reports for us. And that same group of people will be meeting in the next week or two, except we will also include Lisa Berger, the director of CENTCOM at that time. And John Kelly, the attorney for CENTCOM, will also be present at that meeting. And we'll take it from there. Our hopes is that, depending where this leads, the next Jets board meeting is March 22nd at 1 o'clock. And at that time, the full Jets board would discuss the options and there would be a vote taken, or it could be tabled to a later date where perhaps there's a special meeting. But I just wanted to keep everybody abreast of what's going on. Also, union negotiations are still going on at CENTCOM. You know, they're trying to unionize again, and John Kelly, the attorney, talked to us for some time. They'll be going back to meet with the mediator and the rep of the union, so we'll see where that goes. And that's all I have at this time. Are there any announcements from any of the standing committees?
We are, with the Community Relations Committee, we are playing with the idea and actually are going to start showing movies in Village Hall as something is a nice thing for us to do, just to give back to the community. We have some dates set up. We're going to be sending out a kind of like a poll in the newsletter for 2 dates to decide on picking a movie.
Is this a recommendation to the board that we should do this?
Yes.
Okay.
We have 3 dates that we think we can do right now. We're looking at February 27th, March 13th, and April 10th. And we have a company that sells the licenses and will provide us with the DVDs to show so that, the whole FBI wanting to see if we can get movies, yeah, we'll be fine. And this way, the first movie we're looking to show is E.T. And we just thought that it would be a nice thing for us as a village to do to give back a nice great movie night to the people of the village, and all are welcome.
Actually, it'd be a movie afternoon, probably 2 o'clock.
I was just going to say, what would be the time?
It's a Sunday, it'd probably be around 2.
Okay. Well, I mean, this idea was brought up during the holidays, and I think we all agreed that it was a nice idea, that it might be actually better to do in the dog days of winter, when there wasn't as much activity. Is there any other thoughts or comments from any of the board members? My question is, who is planning this, running this, who's going to open the village hall, who's going to, I assume we're going to have popcorn and goodies, who's going to do all that?
And I'll be there later. It's just I work on Sundays and work
And I
most
call
weekends.
conspirator.
So who was it?
Me,
Georgianne
and George.
and George. And John will get here as soon as he can from work. Wouldn't you rather do it when you're not working, John? Or no?
He's never not working.
He's never not.
I work on most weekends from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we had talked about doing a later showing, but we thought that perhaps it might be too late for kids. They go to school on Monday, and we don't want to make it a 6 p.m. showing and have them get back home around 8:30, and then the parent, what happens with dinner and such like that. But if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to email me, send me a message on the village Facebook wall, or comment on our YouTube videos. Please feel free, and I would be more than happy to take your feedback.
One question I have, or thought, as far as dates, obviously you're going to advertise this through the newsletter and the website. Now the newsletter is going to get mailed sometime the week, February 15th, 16th, somewhere in there. So by the time, that doesn't give them a lot of notice.
Well, it gives them about 2 weeks, a week and a half.
It gives them a week and a half tops.
Yeah.
So if you feel comfortable with that, otherwise I was going to say maybe.
Well, if we wanted to do one once a month, because in March, we've got Easter on Sunday and all that.
And
I think it was.
I'm trying to remember when spring break is. I don't think it's not. Okay, so you would advertise 2/27 and 3/13?
Yeah, we would.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we'd advertise all of them.
Oh, okay.
All 3 days.
All 3 days, okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah, April, the reason we did the 10th was because of Palm Sunday and Easter. But, we wanted to.
Yeah, that Wednesday, April, March, excuse me. I apologize.
So that was the only Sunday that we thought was good in April. And we thought if we did it the 27th, it would give them enough notice.
Okay. Fine, as long as you got bodies to work it and clean up.
Money to pay for it?
It's in my budget.
Yeah, there's some more.
I have more than enough money in my budget left over. Plus, I did pre-plan for next year to continue this as a program.
Okay. Thank you.
And we already have popcorn and stuff.
We already have the projector and the DVD player. All we need is the legal copy of the movie to show.
Okay. All right. Any other announcements from standing committees? Okay. We'll move on to committee of the whole format. Item number 1, I mentioned the mayoral luncheon that the Round Lake Chamber held, and I was talking to Trustee Daly about it, and we were talking about different things that, just that we've accomplished or goals that we have as a board. And so I took a presentation that I showed at the Round Lake area luncheon, and I did modify it somewhat. I added a little bit more detail than obviously somebody that has to listen to what's going on with 5 villages wants to hear. And I want to focus on